Hey guys, how you guys doing? I got a couple of updates here, but before I get into that, I just want you guys to know I'm going to be going out of town for the next 8 to 9 days, and so I won't be able to update about anything, honestly. But the videos will continue when I come back. Hopefully over the next 8 to 9 days, nuclear war doesn't break out. But getting into those updates, guys, alright, something I want to talk about that as I was starting this video, something I just saw coming from Reuters. China willing to stay neutral if North Korea attacks first, but will defend North Korea if United States attacks first. So this tells you exactly what we've been saying, and we've been saying it for months now, guys. You know it, I know it. Mainstream media doesn't know it, and even some alternative media that have been like, you know, oh, China voted with us when it came to the United Nations. I told you that was a farce, okay? I've been talking to you guys saying, you know, I don't believe China and Russia are on our side when it comes to North Korea. And there's many reasons for that, but the main reason is that North Korea is a buffer to Western ideology, all right? And they weren't going to give that buffer up, okay? So it definitely seems like something big is going to pop off here. China may be instructing North Korea. North Korea, like I said, is the perfect pawn, and they may be instructing North Korea to maybe take some provocative actions, like launch these missiles towards Guam. But they basically, I feel like, want to warrant a response. See, what Russia and China, their main end goal here, especially China, is the downfall of the U.S., whether that be through economic means and what they're doing to the dollar right now, or if that's through physical means. So what I believe what's happening behind the scenes here is North Korea is being instructed, like a puppet, to do certain things. That's why after Trump came out and stated that, you know, there's going to be fire and fury, which he came out today and said, honestly, his words should have been harsher, you know. And it's funny because North Korea came right back out, started talking about attacking Guam, started talking pretty precise instructions on how they were going to launch missiles towards Guam over the next week. They said the plans would be ready in days, and once the plans are ready, it's just going to be waiting on Kim Jong-un's signal, and once they have that signal, they'll launch the missiles. That's what they've been saying. Now, we did learn today that Japan did say that they would protect Guam and Japan if necessary. They were talking about, their Minister of Defense came out and stated that they would shoot down these missiles if this happens. And you have to ask yourself, you know, let's all just step back for a second. Let's think about this logically. If China and Russia, or just China alone, is pulling the strings on North Korea, and they take provocative action like this, what happens after that? You know, does the U.S., South Korea, and Japan strike? Because we have a slew of countries stating that if there was action by the United States or her allies against North Korea, we've got Australia who would back the U.S., South Korea, obviously, Japan, obviously, Great Britain would back the United States of America. You've got a slew of different countries that have publicly came out and stated that, hey, if things pop off, if North Korea continues these threats, you know, they continue with these missile tests, these missile tests get even more provocative in nature, we'll stand with the United States of America. So if they do this test towards Guam, and say Japan shoots two of them out of the sky, and then the other two land about 30 to 40 kilometers outside of Guam physically, and what does the U.S. do at that point? At that point, I feel like there's no other choice but to retaliate in a physical manner in some way. All right, we've been hearing about different plans coming from the Pentagon, all right, that include B-1B bombers, different bombers from Guam, fighter jets from South Korea, fighter jets perhaps from Japan. We've been hearing about how Trump has a specific plan that the Pentagon, the DoD, has drawn out for him. It's just waiting on his call. Today, General Mattis was asked if the U.S. is ready currently for an attack on Guam or to respond to an attack from North Korea. And he said, oh, we're ready. We're definitely ready. This is an administration that is not backing down. Past administrations would have backed down. They would have... See, North Korea back in the day, when they did these missile tests, Kim Jong-un's father and his grandfather, the reason they did these tests was to get something out of it. All right, they'd be brought to the table. They would get aid to feed their people. They would get aid monetarily, economically, and then a year or two later they would fire another missile and it would repeat the process. But Kim Jong-un has fired way more missiles than his father or grandfather before him combined, and he's not willing to go to the table. That's why when Russia and China came out, all right, and the mainstream media and different pundits came out and stated, oh, well, Russia and China are acting like the grown-up here. Because they were saying, oh, hey, U.S., if you stop your THAAD deployments, if you stop your military exercises, North Korea will take nukes and missiles off on the table, and they'll stop production immediately. And then North Korea immediately came back and said, no, we're not going to do that. See, North Korea's been acting so erratic about this whole situation. That's why I think this is, they're a small part of a master plan here. All right? And the master plan is World War III. There's so much going on around the world currently that supports that theory. All right? The biggest thing so far right now to add a little validity to that theory that this is, North Korea is a small part of a bigger plan, a bigger piece of the pie, is what China just came out and stated. They just stated that they're going to stay neutral if North Korea attacks. If North Korea attacks, they'll stay neutral. But if if the U.S. or her allies attack first, they will defend North Korea. And we've been asking the question, why is China putting all these troops, all these heavy armored vehicles, all these anti-air on the border with North Korea, and now we have our answer. And the answer is that China, North Korea, and probably Russia are pushing the United States, pushing Trump and his administration to act on the provocations that North Korea is laying out. And this is just pretty insane here. You got to ask yourself, how deep does this go? The mainstream media has been pushing war. Like I've said before, I've said countless times, guys, is if you asked anyone in the United States, the average citizen, 9 to 12 months ago about North Korea and their threat level, what kind of threat they pose to the United States, they would have laughed at you. But now we see polls of 75, 80, 85% of Americans think that they're a direct threat. More than half agree that if they have some provocative nature towards South Korea, towards Japan, towards the United States, a military response may be warranted. They're fine with sending troops over. So the average American's being conditioned by the mainstream media, by the deep state, to believe in this war. But it's funny. They'll have a fall guy, and that fall guy will be Trump if things don't go their way. It's a scary situation, guys. I won't be back for another 9 days to talk about this. We'll probably have a slew of more information to talk about it, guys. But, even though I'm not putting out videos for the next 9 days, go out to different YouTube channels. Go to Twitter. Look up information yourself, all right? Because things are going to heat up, and they're going to heat up fast, guys. All right, guys. I hope you enjoy the next week and a half, all right? Make sure to check back once I get back. Subscribe. Tell your friends and family about this information because it's critical. Keep praying, guys, and keep your eyes to the skies. All right, see you guys.